Welcome to Infinitely Idiosyncratic. You know that you are always welcome here. This is entitled Overcoming Our Assumptions. You know, I never like to share anything without using myself as the prime example behind every motivating message, every message within itself. I always look at me first. What I've noticed is a consistent pattern of me responding off of assumption. Now, I've taken a lot of time to invest into me learning myself, and I've even had instances where I've felt like I could still use more in-depth ayahuasca and different things to really get to the root of deeper healing than what I can just do on the surface, including counseling. I've not limited myself to any form of growth whatsoever. And in me knowing the work that I've done on myself as a person in my solitude, you can kind of come to the space sometimes and feel like you got the shit all figured out. But I'm real with myself, and I realize that I don't have it all figured out, and there's still so much more to learn. There's still so much more to develop and grow. And in me knowing that, I've discovered that, when I've acknowledged a pattern in my behavior, like for example, the assumptions, I feel so down and out about the response and how it may affect others when I'm knowing that I'm just on a journey trying to grow. In the event of this happening, there would be a situation where I would be in a relationship, because it's easy for me to continue to specify the difference between me, myself, and I in a relationship and me, myself, and I doing the work alone. It's two different dynamics, but it's all still growth. In a relationship, I've noticed myself having patterns in the past of responding off of things that I felt like that could potentially put a wrench or damper or hurt a relationship moving forward. And in some cases, I spoke things that were already there and hidden behind the scenes, but I just spoke it in a way of accusations and assumption rather than it coming out in a way of it being done in love. Or there has been times when I spoke of things before it happened, or there's been times, or I spoke it into existence, or there has been times where I spoke of things that weren't even close to ever being the truth. Regardless to whether it was possible, could have been possible, about to be possible, or never true, I've acknowledged that the whole idea of going through the whole motion in trying to explain this to another person, that I have this level of growth in me that I'm still reaching to obtain, or this assuming stage where I know that I want to heal. Explaining this to another person is very hard, because not everybody is going to understand where you are and love you in the midst of it. And one thing I do not want to be an advocate of anymore is ever begging anybody to stay, ever making a person feel like they have to grow with me. It's not anything a person has to do. And so I've come to a place of understanding to embrace my mistakes as I grow along, but seeing it become a consistent pattern to the point where it's irritating and bothering me. It's like I feel it can allow one to feel less than themselves and allow one to feel as if you will never change. I have to remain encouraged in knowing that it has to change. Everything else has, and this is just another obstacle that will be no longer an obstacle in due time. And if you're anything like how I was, I used to try to identify what this is, and we would all assume that it may have come from a traumatic situation in life, whether it be childhood, whether it be relationship, whether it be, work worship, or anything like that. Regardless, there is something that has created a level of insecurity or fear or whatever it may be in me, that I had moments where my assumptions would come to play in regards to, trying to protect me from a situation or a person. And it has also been something that has happened in the space of showing me how emotionally available another person is towards my growth, because I know that I'll have to be that same woman to that individual with whatever it is that I may have to grow through with that person. None of us are ever coming into a relationship without shit that we need to work on. I am just at a space where I have to share where I'm growing, because even though it may not make much sense to me today, I know that me seeing my response like this in the past has allowed me to see a lot of people come and go. And that also in tune developed a fear of abandonment, not because of childhood trauma, but because of me overcoming or me acknowledging the response to people who experience this truth, and they just weren't the right people. And so that also caused a different level of something that I needed to address, of abandonment, because I was afraid of having these moments, because I was afraid that people were going to leave. Okay? I have to continue to be real and honest and transparent with myself as I continue to work and figure this out, because I know I'm not the only one. And I know that people have different dynamics of things that they may have seen patterns of, but assuming will do exactly what it will do, and it will make an ass out of anybody. And I understand what assumptions are connected to. Assumptions are connected to fear. Assumptions are connected to trauma. Assumptions are connected to insecurities. Assumptions are connected to an array of different things. But if I'm showing myself to be one in a place that is ready to grow from this shit, then the first thing I have to do is to continue to identify it, address it as it comes, and work my hardest to never be complacent with anything that does not complement who I am and where I'm going. And if you're out there and you are a woman or a man and you can resonate to this, it may not be in the same sense, it may not be as similar, or it may be similar. The only thing I can do for myself is to continue to encourage myself and let people assume, think, come, go, grow, whatever they decide. But I know that the woman that I was last year or yesterday is not the same person that I am today. And I am opening myself up for growth, opening myself up for acknowledgement of what my flaws are, opening myself up for healing, opening myself up. And I trust that, though people may come and go, those who are meant will remain. And I'd be lying to say that there was not an inclination still there of the thought of what a person's decisions may be. But in growing in self-love, you get to a place where you acknowledge that whatever a person comes for, whatever they go for, you still gotta grow. Life still goes on, and I trust the loving, healthy individuals who are in my life to love and understand me for where I'm growing to, not for where I am today, but just loving me for where I am. And so I want to encourage anybody who can relate to times where you may have assumed and your assumptions may have been wrong, and you might feel real crunchy, real down and out about you going through the experience. Know that growth is mandatory, and as long as you're working on you, nothing is impossible to change. It does take a team, it does take people by your side to support you, but just know everything is gonna work itself out in due time. And you have my love, because I've been there and I know what it's like to be growing. You are doing so. Remain infinitely idiosyncratic. Love you.